Hi, everyone, back to the More YouTube channel. It's Chris back with another match preview. These games are coming thicker and faster than not, as Newcastle United are going to take on Tottenham Hotspur at a weird time. Tuesday night kickoff, 8:15 in the Premier League. We're going to get stuck right into this, talk about the team lineup, talk about how we think the game is going to go, talk about the opponents and their danger men as well, and then we're going to talk about what we think the result is going to be. So if that's the kind of thing you guys like, smash subscribe, help get us to the next milestone. We've just gone over 12,000 subscribers, so the prize draw video is out, very out soon. If it's not out at the time of this recording, it will be out soon. You could win this amazing prize, which you need to watch the video, find out what it is, and then make a comment underneath as well. But thank you for the love and support for getting us there. We're going to strive on to keep growing and try and get as many subscribers as we possibly can. Got a lot of ground to catch up with all these other great Newcastle United channels out there who are friends of ours and support us as well, which we love. It's all nice, the Newcastle United content world. It really, really is. But thank you guys for getting us to 12K. But smash the button and get us even further up there if you haven't already. So Tottenham Hotspur, what have we got in store with Tottenham Hotspur? Well, Tottenham Hotspur are a very, very Jekyll and Hyde team. Spursy is what they're called, and Spursy is what they've been certainly this season. They started out really well under Thomas Frank, and you started to think they kind of turned the corner a little bit and they were doing really, really well. But the bad form has kind of crept in a bit more for Spurs recently. They just got beat at the weekend 2-1 at home against Fulham. A horrific mistake as well by Vicario that Harry Wilson finished really, really well. They managed to pull a goal back kind of on the hour mark for Mohamed Kudus, but they weren't particularly great. They're struggling for goals up front. Richarlison, again, I've never really rated Richarlison. He's never really looked like the kind of player that they all wanted him to be. Kulu Moani did well in Europe, but he's really struggled in the domestic league as well. But more on them in a minute. Let's talk about our lads. Let's talk about Newcastle United. So in terms of these two teams where they sit at the table right now, we are 13th and they're 12th, both at 18 points. So if either one of these teams can win this game, they're probably going to push themselves up to the European places, kind of top 8, top 7 or something like that. So that's how tight the league is right now. It is tight as hell. It's tighter than a Cowboys pants. What are they called again? Chaps. That's what they are. Sorry, I'll be getting all kind of clicks for that. But they're tight. It's tight. It's a very tight league. Going into December, it's probably the tightest I've ever known in the Premier League, to be fair. But Newcastle United need to start winning more games, putting together a run. We beat Man City, beat Everton very comfortably as well. If we can win these two home games, coming up, Spurs being the first one, Burnley being the second, we'll bounce into that derby with loads of confidence and hopefully back in a real good position in the Premier League where European football doesn't seem as far away as it did a few weeks ago, which is absolutely incredible. But in terms of the lineup, this is how I think the lads will line up. Anyhow, probably won't change a winning team, but I'd like one change in particular, which you'll see in a second. So we're going to play Aaron Ramsdale in goal again. And Nick Pope had a groin injury, if you believe that. I'm not sure that was actually the case. Maybe it was just a tough decision for Eddie Howe to make, potentially, and the easiest thing to do was maybe come out with an injury. I don't know what the story is. I don't think Nick Pope would feign injury. I don't think Eddie Howe would blag an injury, but, there may be a little bit of loose truth within that. But Aaron Ramsdale was excellent against Everton. Didn't have loads to do. What he did do very well was he used the ball very well. He helped push the lads 10 yards up the pitch. The defence was 10 yards further up the pitch. The midfield was 10 yards further up the pitch. And therefore, we had more bodies around Nick Baltamada, which is exactly what we needed to win the game. And that's what we did. And I think we'll keep the same back four. We'll have Tino Livramento on the right, Malik Chow with Dan Burn next to him. We've got options there. Fabian Schär can play there. Botman's got a back injury. That doesn't sound very good. I think he could be out for quite a long spell. So I think Dan Burn will continue at left centre back next to Malik Chow. Dan Burn did really well against Everton down the Hill Dickinson Stadium. That's his preferred position. He's a centre half. He's very good at being a centre half. And him and Malik Chow look good. Malik Chow looks excellent every single game he plays, to be brutally honest with you. And then Lewis Hall, brilliant left back. Had a stormer of a game against Everton, up and down the line, defending really well, whipping crosses in, just looks the real deal. So him and Tino in the team, we fancy our chances to beat anybody, especially St James's Park with that crowd behind us. Now in the midfield, Joe Linton had a steady game, didn't do anything wrong, didn't do anything massively right, just got about his business well, won the ball back, but Lewis Miley was incredible in the game against Everton. I've been screaming for this kid to get more minutes for a long, long time. And I know we need to rotate the squad. There's a lot of football coming, but I'd like to see him keep Miley in the team. So I'm going for Miley, Bruno Guimaraes, and Tonali back in the side. I'd love to see those three have a proper game together because I think they're all so good with the ball, the composure, the calmness, the telepathy link between Miley and Bruno Guimaraes was there. We've seen Miley and Tonali play really well together in Europe as well. I think it was against Benfica in the Champions League. Miley seems to just work on the same wavelength as these two players, and they're so good on the ball. I think all three of them are capable of rotating between the 6 and the 8. I think would cause teams absolute carnage. We'll come on to the Spurs midfield in a minute. Now, I would fancy our chances with that midfield three to absolutely pass Spurs to death and win this game really, really comfortably. I'd love to see that midfield three, and I hope Eddie goes for that. Now, up front, he's got some options to choose from. Gordon will be getting frustrated. He doesn't get a game. Harvey Barnes is in great form, so I think he'll continue in the left. Big Nick Armada, he will start through the middle because Wissa is nowhere near ready yet. He's back training with his teammates, which is good news. They reckon he might be back in time for a derby, and I think there's a reason for that. The main reason is they don't want him getting called up for the African Cup of Nations. So I think if he's had minimal minutes before the AFCON announcement, which I think is the 21st of December it starts, is that right? 21st of December it starts, and you have to announce the squad. Is it 8 days or 10 days prior? So I think Eddie Howe's playing this very close to his chest, so Wissa does not get called up for the African Cup of Nations. And you choked on my own point there, but you know what I'm trying to say. Now, the right-hand side, I think Anthony Elanga will get the nod again. So I think he played really well against Everton. I think he needs a run of games, and at home, with the fan base up the way they are, he's had his best performances really in the Champions League at home against Liverpool and Barca prior to the Everton game. So I think he'll keep Elanga in for a little bit of a run to see how he can do. Maybe just give Murphy time to recover from that knock that he's had, come back into the team. But he could change things. He could bring Gordon back in, could move Barnes over to the right, could bring Murphy back in. I don't know. It's nice to have options. But I think Anthony Elanga may get the nod again just to continue this run and see how that builds his confidence even further. Same with Lewis Miley as well. And I think that's a strong Newcastle United team. I think don't change anything too much against, for the team that beat Everton. That Joe Linton may still play in the team, but I would love to see that midfield three. But Eddie might just stick with the same team, because you don't change a winning formula. Now, looking at Spurs as an opponent, so the Spurs' injuries, we'll get into them in a minute in terms of who's coming back. Now, the way they lined up against Fulham at home, so they've got a 4 at the back. They've got a weird formation. It's like a 4-2-2-2, which I try and say that 3 times fast when you've had 4 pints in the boozer. But they started out with Vicario Neto, an absolute shocker with that Wilson goal there. I hope he starts on Tuesday because we'll fancy our chances there. Porro right back. I like Porro. He's a decent player, as is Danzo. He's quite a decent centre-half. Mickey van der Ven, very fast, very good centre-half. Udogie didn't have a great game against Fulham, but he can get up and down the line as well. But with Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall on the opposite flanks, Porro and Udogie will spend more time defending, I feel, than they will attacking, because those lads can overlap the wingers, and the wingers will be pushing strong, especially if it's Barnes and Elanga as well. But they had a sitting midfield too of Archie Gray, who's a really good utility player. I do like that young lad. And Paulina, that Bergvall and Mohamed Kudus in front of them. Then Richarlison and Kula Mwani in front of them. It didn't really do much to get this game won against Fulham. Fulham scored really early in the 4th minute, the 6th minute, I think it was. And then it took Spurs up to an hour to get a goal back, and they weren't particularly great in that game. So in terms of their players coming back from injury, so the good news for Spurs, and this guy is a right shithouse, is they're going to have Christian Romero back. I think he's Argentinian, and he always ends up in needle with Bruno and Joe Linton when he plays, because Argentines and Brazilians just have fights all of the time. But he's back from a yellow card suspension, ironically enough, this week, so he should go straight in and probably take Danzo's place in the back line next to Mickey van der Ven. Now, he's a big, rough and tough centre-forward, but we saw how Nick Voltemade dealt with Tarkowski against Everton, and Keane as well. Another 2 big, strong, rough and tough centre-halves. He rolled them, he pulled them out of position, he turned them, and he was brilliant in that game. And at home, he's even stronger, Nick Voltemade. So I'm not sweating Romero or Van der Ven. Van der Ven's got a pace, I'll give him that. But Romero is a red card waiting to happen. And I think Voltemade could really twist him inside and out and really get to him. And with Elanga's pace back there, running the fullbacks and tucking inside, he could possibly be in for a rough game, Romero, and get himself a red card, hopefully, which would be lovely. But they are missing 6 players. Obviously, James Maddison, long-term injury with the ACL. Dragerson looks like he's somebody from Highlander. He's not fit enough to play. Takai is out with a thigh injury. Basuma's out with an ankle injury. Kulusevski's got a long-term knee injury. Solanke's got an ankle injury as well. So they're going to be missing a good few players. But the way that the site I'm looking at now, which is Sportsmall, has got them lined up, is Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven. Spence has come back in. Tie your shoelaces, Bonnie lad. Bentancur, Sarr, Kudus, Bergvall, Simons, and Kolo Muani. So that's how they've got them in there. Now, Xavi Simons, when he played against us in the Cup, did very, very little in this game. I think it overawed him. The physicality in Newcastle was there, and it's not his game at all. He's really struggled during his time at Tottenham Hotspur, and the form guide isn't particularly great either, to be honest with you, looking at this. So looking at their form guide in the Premier League, so they've only won one of the last 6 games. Now, in our Premier League form, we've won 3 of our last 6 games. And obviously, we're very, very strong at home. So you would fancy us to get the result in this game. And that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for a Newcastle win. I think the confidence will be up. I think getting that hoodoo off their backs of the away performance, the first away win since April. And not only that, a commanding performance as well. Players on the periphery coming in and really staking a claim for a starting berth in this lineup, the likes of Lewis Miley and Anthony Langer and Aaron Ramsdale. I think we'll continue that form going into this game. It's a real quick turnaround, not a lot of time to train. So the buzz from beating Everton will still be in the lads' bloodstream. And I really think that'll help. And the crowd will be right up for it as well. Tuesday night game. People will be fucking off from work early. Couple of scoops, I'm sure, on their way out the office, and then in the ground, vocal, nice lubrication for the old vocal cords. They'll be in there screaming their hearts out. War flags and display as well. And the players, that just gives the players extra percentage. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. And I'm looking forward to this game. We've got a really good record against Spurs at home, both in the Premier League and in Cup games as well. And I fancy it. I really, really do. Last time Spurs came up, the fans were incredible. 6,000 and travelled up midweek. It'll probably be the same again. But we beat them really comfortably in the Carabao Cup, and they didn't show up at all. Now, whether Frank gets a tune out of them and uses that as fuel to say, listen, you did fuck all against this lot in the Carabao Cup. You need to step up and play. That remains to be seen, because Spurs do have some good players. Those players I've listed there are talented players. But I think when you're looking at that kind of midfield that they'll be playing in that game, I don't see a lot of strength there. I don't see a lot of aggression there or bite there to deal with the likes of a Bruno Guimaraes. I nearly combined them. Bruno Tonali, what a player he would be. But Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali, even Lewis Miley, he physically won the ball back nearly 8 or 9 times at the weekend. He was strong. His ability to whip crosses in as well from set pieces. Now, we're a big side, us, and that's a dangerous cocktail for Spurs to deal with. Bentancur and Sara are decent players and stick their foot in, but I think our midfield can run over them. I really, really do. And that's where most games are won, as Eddie Howe said in his post-match presser. Most games are won in the midfield in football. And our midfield right now is looking electric. It really, really is, with the extra quality that Miley showed at the weekend as well. I think he'll go in this game absolutely full of confidence at home, wanting to show the St James's Park crowd what he can do from the start. And I fancy Newcastle to win this game 2-0. I really do. I fancy a Harvey Barnes goal, and I fancy a big Nick goal as well. That goal at the weekend again will kick him again, bit of confidence. He'll kickstart again. If we get bodies around him like we did against Everton, he will get in positions and he will score goals. And this has been an exciting time for Newcastle with these 2 home games coming up. It's a good chance to get 4 wins under your belt in the Premier League, which is massive at this stage of the season, with the league table being so tight, and bounce into that derby with confidence. But let me know in the comments below what you think about our team that we've selected there. Do you think it'll be the same that Howe's picking? What do you think about Spurs? Are you sweating them? Are you worried? Do you think Newcastle could very well be in for a sticky night tonight? Or do you think the confidence of that away win against Everton will roll into this game on Tuesday with the extra form that they've got against Spurs, and will win this game relatively comfortably? Always like to hear from you. Drop a subscribe, like the video, hit the bell for all your ever more content so you don't miss out on anything. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the love and support, guys. And if you haven't subscribed, do it. Come on, I'll get us to the next milestone. 13,000 for the next one. I'll have even bigger prize then probably. But yeah, thanks for everything, guys. We'll be back with a post-match for this game against Spurs on Tuesday night, late on at 10 o'clock-ish. Come and join us in the chat. Hopefully we're all celebrating when Newcastle United have won another game. Thanks for watching. Have a belter. See you later.
Heroes celebrate. They have done it.